Hello. Hello. Is it just you and me, Shelley?
I can't see you.
Okay. I don't know.
I hope we're not having camera issues again.
Is it just you and me, though?
It is. Oh, Eric's joining us. Hold on just a moment.
Oh, I see participants. Huh. Because you're not there either. It's just your name. See if Eric comes up.
Okay.
Hey,
I don't see any face on Eric either.
I don't have my camera on. Let me try
Eric,
here.
can you try your camera to see, make sure it works?
Yeah.
Hey, can you believe I'm the first one at the meeting, Eric? Is that
That is crazy.
It's crazy, crazy.
Oh, good.
That's
There you
Yay.
Well, how did you get it on there? I got stop video, start video. Video settings. I guess I could look at that. Original ratio, HD. Does anyone know?
I have no idea. I just hit the start video button and hope everything goes okay.
Integrated webcam. Where am I? Maybe this is better. That way you just hear me. Dun, 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 dun. Huh. I have no idea. Yay, Cash is here. How's your video, Cash?
I haven't turned it on yet.
Well, it's weird because I turned mine on. I turned mine on and you can't see me.
Hey, Eric, do we think we're gonna have a quorum? I saw a couple people can't make it. You haven't heard from anyone else, I assume?
No, just Ken and Hannah. So
Okay.
we should still be okay.
Okay.
We've got quorum, right?
Yep, we have a quorum.
Hey,
I think we do.
Lynette. Yay, Melinda. But nobody's face is showing up. This is good. Ooh, there's
mine.
Cash.
Mhm.
Cash got a dye hair job. Your face seems so much more red. I mean, your hair seems more red.
Don't really have any, so it must be my computer camera, I guess, or the lighting in
Oh,
here or
that's funny.
something. Um,
There's Matt. He's joining you too. This is preservation, historic preservation, not hairline preservation.
that's right. I would
You
not be
don't-
out.
You-
I would
you're
not be
throwing out-
eligible.
you're throwing out the fingers there tonight, huh? CJ, that's nice.
I won't talk about my receding hairline.
And there's
I think
Hey,
we got-
Lauren, where's the babies?
One just left to go to the park. The other one's sitting right here next to me.
Oh, make her or him wave. Which one is this one?
This is Sally. Hold on.
Oh, where'd you get the name Sally?
Named after my aunt, Sally. Whoops.
Aw.
Here she is.
Sally.
Oh, she's staring at the ceiling fan right now.
Hi, Sally. Hello, Sally. You know your name, huh, Sally? Yes, you do.
Is she another
Yeah, I was
redhead?
interested in you for a little bit. Now back to the fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Melinda, you're with Oxygen. How are you feeling? You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I'm better than I was.
You were in the hospital?
Yeah,
Shoot.
for like 4 days.
Oh my God.
Well, go
And-
ahead.
Still having to use the oxygen for a while. I'm
Is
hoping
it-
to get off of it.
Is it related to your lungs or your heart or?
Heart, it's was congestive heart failure.
Well, don't push getting off the oxygen. It really does help the brain cells.
Well, I certainly need all the brain cells I can get.
Does anyone know when they hit video and it doesn't show what might be the problem? Because I'm not in the dark.
Have a cover over your laptop. Is there a little switch above that? You can flip the little switch.
Huh.
We-
I'm not,
Yeah,
I mean,
cover.
I see the light and I see the camera.
It's that
you-
piece of electrical tape you have over the camera.
Oh, darn. No duct tape there.
Well, I know people that put tape over it, but there's also a little what is it, a security screen of sort that
Huh,
can flip
I'm
back and
not
forth. Is
seeing anything.
there a little, hey, there it is. Wait, just
Oh,
saw
wait,
something.
there was. Oh my God, you're right.
There
There
you
goes.
are.
Yeah.
All right.
Matt, you're
Um,
just amazing.
With that, why don't we go ahead and get started since we have a quorum? So it's, I have 6:36 PM. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And the first item, as usual, is the approval of the minutes.
Oh, I need to roll. I need to
Oh,
roll.
sorry, Eric, go ahead.
That's all right. Okay, so Chair Cash Parker,
Here,
Vice Chair Matt Crabtree,
Here.
CJ Cullinan,
Here,
Belinda Ellswick,
Here,
Lauren Cooper,
Here.
and Hannah Miles is absent and Ken Chu is absent this evening. Noted for staff, Eric Sampson from Community Development and Sergio Renteria from the City Attorney's Office.
thanks, Eric. Sorry to jump right over your roll call there. I apologize.
That's all right.
That brings us to the approval of the minutes. Is there any discussion on the minutes?
not much to discuss.
No.
I move-
Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So move.
For a second,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from April 19th. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous with the ayes on approval of the minutes. Public forum, I don't see anyone from the public. Am I right about that, Eric?
You are correct.
Okay. There's one item of new business and two items of old business. The new business item, this has been raised a couple times before, and it seems like we never hit when everyone is here on the discussion of the meeting day and the possibility of an in-person meeting or meeting. We can talk about it. Obviously, I'd prefer to have input from everybody about this. The meeting day and time continues to be fine for me. As we discussed before, I like having the virtual option for all meetings. I think it would be nice, maybe at some point this summer, if we could do an in-person meeting, just because we haven't in quite some time. So any and all thoughts are welcome on those two related topics.
How about this? This is an idea to do two birds with one stone, is to come over to my house. It's fairly small. Have our meeting and then do a walking tour of our neighborhood.
I'm fine with that. Eric, can we do offsite meetings? Is that permissible?
As long as
That
it's
I-
recorded, right?
Don't know.
It has to be accessible to the
To the
public.
public.
I have, I'm on the first floor. I mean, I have no steps except the one to get in the house.
I think
just-
your address would have to be announced as the meeting location.
What?
Your address would
Right.
have to be announced as the meeting location,
I'm
and
fine with that.
there would have to be some facility to record the meeting.
We got
I mean-
videos on our cameras.
What we could do to solve that problem, I mean, I'm happy to do that, CJ. We could do a meeting at the city hall at the Inglewood Municipal Building and then do that afterwards. I mean, that would be
Sure,
fine
if
with
anybody
me.
wants to.
Mhm.
We're very baby
Or-
stroller friendly.
That works.
Or I mean, could we just do a walking tour in lieu of a meeting? like- I mean, because we've done that before with certain events, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but we got stuff to do.
Yeah,
that's
there's stuff to do, and we also have to be cognizant of the number of commission members that meet at one time without declaring it as a meeting. On a meeting day. I hate to be the bearer of bad news on that one, be the downer on that, but I think city attorney may, I don't know, am I right on that?
Sergio,
So yeah, I'm sorry, Sergio.
Yes. So we need to be cognizant about open meetings laws and making meetings accessible to the public. Doesn't mean that we all can't go on a walking tour, but just need to be careful about making sure that our business is in the public domain.
so, oh, okay. So when we go to do a walking tour, what do we say?
I mean, we can all look at our schedules and just agree that one day we're going to go on a walking tour.
right.
Okay,
You're welcome to come
Yes.
along.
Yeah, we can't discuss public business. But
well, technically
know-
it's historic, so I don't know.
I don't know, my interpretation of the COML, Colorado Open Meetings Law, or the Sunshine Law, is that any body that of I don't know, we're not an elected body, we're a nominated body. And again, Sergio can help me out here on this one, but any government body that is making decisions on behalf of, you know, a electorate or a community or whatever, cannot get together with more than 2 members without having a meeting officially posted. Is that right? Sergio?
There you go.
Sorry, I'm trying to work the mute and everything. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd have to get into the details of it to get you the exact details, but you're essentially you're right. If we're together, more than 2 members together, we would have to record the meeting, make it available to the public, post notice, and be available for any sort of core request if we were to produce anything. So yeah, we would be able to discuss any sort of business.
No, back to the historic tour though.
Yeah, that would be that. If, for instance, and I mean, here's the thing. So we're a nominated board, but we're still a function of the city. So
No, I appreciate that, but I'm just saying, how can we do this?
oh,
Well, if I could jump in here. Just at present, I can't be going on walking tours and stuff without dragging an oxygen tank with me. Or even going into City Hall without dragging an oxygen tank. But if everybody insists on that I have to come to City Hall for everything, then and my disability can't be accommodated, then
Melinda, I can get you a portable oxygen concentrator,
I
I
believe,
have a concentrator.
the little portable one that you carry on your shoulder.
No,
I can get that for you.
May I recommend also that we have the opportunity to do hybrid meetings?
Well,
that's
that's
what I was gonna say.
that was my point. I'm not suggesting going back to in-person meetings. I don't think that's realistic for a lot of different groups, whether it's in the city or otherwise. I was suggesting perhaps having an in-person meeting, one that would have a hybrid option, and any in-person meeting should have a hybrid option at this point, is my thinking. No, I'm not. It's not a suggestion to go back to in-person meetings, because that's decidedly inconvenient for essentially everyone involved. It's just to have an in-person meeting, since we haven't in 3+ years at this point.
There's a collaborative element, and I know that when I was chair, I brought this up a few times, so I appreciate Cash, you bring this up again. There's a collaborative element that occurs when you meet in person with someone and you're not looking at a screen.
Yeah.
And however, the world has drastically changed after COVID. There's a higher expectation of, I guess, allowing this virtual
Yeah.
interface, and I don't know. So I'd love to be able to sit down with everybody again, but of course, we have to be cognizant, I guess, of hybrid.
well, and these virtual meetings have been useful in that people who have to travel for work can still join the meetings, that we can share screens with each other and things like that. So it is really a convenient way to meet, although I agree, perhaps the public would like to actually see us.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd fully support having, hybrid meetings or just kind of having, in the future, all meetings having that option, or just having like one special meeting. That would be, where we all try and come, something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I had in mind, is to keep doing what we're doing, but have, I don't know if it's once a year, once a quarter, something like that, where we agree to try to make it in person. But if you can't, there's always a hybrid option, because trying to pick a date between 7 schedules is just always going to be 7 people who have very different occupations and lives, and all of that is going to be really difficult to probably land on one date. But yeah, and it just going into summer, it seemed like maybe summer is an appropriate time to look at that. Like, I don't know, August or September. It doesn't have to be next month or even July, but something like that.
I propose quarterly, at least tentatively, to go up to quarterly, and then in that way, because and I understand it's not going to, same with what you're saying, Cash, is that I understand it's not going to work for everybody all the time. And if it doesn't, then you can still join via Zoom. And I think the conference room that we meet in City Hall does have a screen and I believe a camera.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that's, and quarterly at least sets it as this will be a optional in-person meeting. Encourage anybody possible to show up, because I do like the collaborative, in-person element and being able to see people and reality instead of virtual reality.
For sure. And the other thing too that I know, and probably others know this too from talking to people on council, there are certain people on council who put a big premium on in-person meetings. And so I think being able to tell certain individuals who are city council members that we have some component of in-person meetings may help with our credibility. Not that we're not completely credible, but I think that may be helpful to us as we continue dealing with council, to say that we have the in-person meetings, to have the collaboration and the face-to-face, in-person optional, put it that way.
Well, you can say we do hybrid in order to accommodate disabilities too.
Well, and absolutely, and we do hybrid in order to accommodate, as many folks as can participate and who might not always be able to be there in person for whatever reason, because we value input from people from across the community. So, what does everyone think about trying to do August or maybe September as an in-person optional hybrid meeting?
Sounds good. I mean, I'm thinking every 4 months is okay.
Yeah.
So I'm for try or even biannual, but whatever.
Sure.
Well, and especially if we have some event like we had the meeting at the library to unveil the map project, or the beginning of the map project, especially if we have something to show the public or something, that we could have an event, not just a meeting in person.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like we have consensus around that. Eric, I don't think that's something we need to take a vote on, is it, as far as scheduling potentially a hybrid, let's just call it a hybrid meeting where folks, if they can make it in person?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay. So yeah, maybe we'll aim for the August or September timeframe. And, I agree, Melinda, if there's some specific event that we can make the meeting wrap around or include, sure, I think that's a good idea, but I don't think that's necessary either. But yeah, if we have something like that, I don't know what that might be in the near future, but I think
It could be introducing the voluntary project if they want to sign up to be a landmark.
yeah, it could be that. Eric, or I see Brian's on here too. Are other boards and commissions meeting in person? I probably asked you guys that at a previous meeting, but I can't remember what the answer was, if you know.
So the Planning and Zoning Commission was requested by City Council to return to in-person meetings,
Mhm.
like 100% in-person meetings by the end of May. So no more hybrid unless we have somebody that's sick. It's not really an option. The Board of Adjustment is discussing making a return back to in-person meetings as well. So those are the two boards that I'm part of. Primarily, that's the only reason I know. I'm not sure about other boards returning to in-person meetings. If you want that information, we can find out where everybody stands. But the Planning and Zoning Commission, Board of Adjustment, those are the two that we know of.
Yeah, I was just curious. I don't know that we need formal information on that. I was just curious what the state of affairs was with others. That makes sense. Is there any other thoughts on this before we move to the old business items?
So no decision made, but September hybrid, period.
Yeah, August or September is what I was thinking. I mean, Eric, I guess before we leave this topic, are the logistics, can I tell you as we set an agenda that, this meeting is a hybrid, make it if possible?
Yeah, and then plus we'll have a couple of meetings before the August or September one, so we can decide at the July if we want to do the August hybrid, and then we can just plan from there.
Sure.
Yeah, I would recommend we try to plan them out ahead of time rather than waiting before the week before if we can. That way we can make sure that rooms aren't booked, that we have rooms that are available for us to do some kind of in-person hybrid approach.
Yeah,
and
that's
we'll
what
have to let the custodians know as well to leave stuff unlocked for everybody to get in.
Yeah,
Can we
those
just do
kinda-
September, Cash, and just pick that?
Yeah, September is fine with me if it's fine with everyone else. But that's why I had August or September in mind. So why don't we tentatively plan on September, and there's 3 intervening meetings before then, that we can discuss it further if we need to.
Sounds
Does
good.
that work, Eric?
That worked for me.
Okay, I'm just saying this aloud to remind myself and remind me if I forget. I'll just put this on old business for next month so that if anything changed, we can discuss it again. All right. That leads us to the old business for this month, the Pinyon survey project and HPC investigation of properties. I don't know, Eric, thank you for sending around the vision. I have not had a chance to start on my properties. I don't know if anyone else has jumped in and gotten a flavor for what it looks like so far and how it's going. That was my thought in discussing this month, and how long it's gonna take potentially, if anyone has estimates on that. Matt, I saw you nodding.
Yeah, I've started on it. I am not done with it per se, but I thank you, Eric, for throwing some interesting properties at me. I actually got the water treatment plant, the sewer plant.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and that. But anyway, yeah, I got the sewer plant, and I got a school administration building. Both of them. Both of them do actually I have significance, historic significance in their own rights. So
That sounds great.
but there are a couple of things. I don't know how we want to talk about this, but I've gotten part of the way through it. But I've got a lot more research to do myself. Melinda, I think you had mentioned that you'd gotten a lot of yours.
Yeah, I finished all of mine.
Oh, I haven't gotten
And
anything.
yeah, right. Well, like I say, I'm retired. I don't, I don't have a day job to keep me busy at this. So, or little babies at home to keep me busy at it. So,
Watch people start paying you. Hey,
and
Linda,
well,
do
I
me.
like to say, if somebody wants some help with this, I'm available. The research is the fun part. So that's I'm quite willing to do it. And I mean, part of where I looked was the photo collection in the library, and I couldn't find any of my assigned properties in any of those photos, but I found a couple of others that weren't on the survey that I kind of think ought to be.
Oh, cool.
And I'm quite willing to share my screen to show those, but
Sure, I've got some too. So if you want to go first, I bet you there's one of them.
okay,
over,
yeah.
over on our side of town that we might have both picked, but
Well, yeah, well, at least one is on our side of town. And let me see if I can, yeah. There's two there. One I ran across this one at 12 East Quincy. It's an old house, but the note in the library said it was possibly the first house in the Cherryland neighborhood.
Oh,
And
cool.
I don't know who else had Cherryland houses. I didn't. This was like right across the street from one of mine. So and I thought that was interesting, even as a neighborhood designation. And the other is it was built as the Salvation Army Temple. And I used to just live around the corner from there, so I know it's now a music school. And but that seems like some interesting history.
So
Yeah,
music school wasn't selected, huh?
Yeah, that's interesting. I live just up the street from that, so I know what I'm talking about.
I would say just add it to, somehow mark it differently, like with some asterisks or something, but just add it to your info.
Well, that's what I wanted to do. I mean, I put them on a separate page so I could share them here, but you see these pictures are both from the library archives, and both of those buildings are of course still there, and the Orff School is still going strong. I used to know the ladies that ran it. And gosh, that would be an interesting meeting site actually too. I mean, they have like an auditorium and a stage. If we wanted to conduct something sometime, they might be agreeable. But as long as it's like not on a Tuesday night. I think that was when it was always, you had to watch out for all the cars for people picking up their kids from the school. But that was, like I say, those are just two things I found.
Is that photo from the 60s?
Yeah. It was from like right after it was built in 1960. So it's certainly old enough. And it's basically unchanged.
Well, that, what do you call it? What I would call the pastor home in the back there is gone.
Well, actually, it's like a garage or something like that, I think, but there is still a bit of a building back there. The residence part of the thing is around by the alley, actually. There's an entrance there that's to the residential part of the building where the owners live, and then the music school is in the front.
No, but you see that little piece over there to the right?
Uh-huh.
When you're looking at it, that used to be the parsonage type place where, you know, it had a kitchen and a room and stuff back there. So that part was taken away when they sold their land, and there's a new house there.
Ah,
But the main sanctuary part, or whatever you would
Yeah.
call this part, that hasn't been touched
no,
except, for-
and that's still like an auditorium with a stage.
yeah, I mean, I always
Um,
thought it was just a church, so I didn't.
And well, yeah, I would say it was yeah, I mean, it looks like a church, but it's actually a music school. I
No,
actually
I mean,
did
before.
a demonstration for the kids there with several of us string players. They asked us to come and demonstrate our instruments. And I probably wasn't as entertaining as the violinist, but it was a fun thing to do anyway.
That's so cool.
So that's what I did also. All of these blue shaded ones are mine, and I made a comment line. I looked up the neighborhood of all of them, which was easy enough. And because I looked up the permit history of each
Ah,
one. I was looking for any that had like outstanding demolition permits, and you look for threatened and endangered ones. And none of them did. They've all been had, you know, like plumbing and electrical work and so forth, and they're all in good condition. So
ah.
That's a really good idea. That's a really, really good idea to look up the permits on it.
Mhm.
How did you do that through the records request? You just did a simple.
well, I have access to that piece on the city's webpage,
Oh, okay.
which I guess any of us can sign up for, or I can do it for everybody else too. Just like I say, I have the time and I have the access.
Is that something that I do recall that now, that there was access given to us for that, right?
Yeah,
Wow, I totally forgot about that.
and Eric was the one that told me how to do it, actually.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yep, you just need to create an account on the IMS site and you can go wild.
Cool. It's all public information.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I Googled it and found that. So all you have to do is create that account on that. Eric.
So real quick, I volunteered to pull everything together. Well, are we gonna, I really didn't know what I was, obviously any job could be extended to whatever it wants, but are we just gonna kind of stick with that Excel spreadsheet, or do we want narratives? What do we want?
I just inserted the column and added some narrative notes.
No, but the idea
myself,
that
but,
then people were gonna send stuff to me and I was going to play with it. Or am I just collecting it all?
mean, what you did, Melinda, makes sense. I mean, that seems easiest is to get it in the spreadsheet and then we can, I mean, it's not hard to merge all that from there.
So just leave it. Cool.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, and Eric, I can't remember what kind of timeline you were looking for on this. I'm not sure there was one specifically. It's obviously going to take at least until at least next month's meeting, if not longer, probably for everybody to get through all these. So I would say, you know, once everybody's through theirs, then we can see what the work product looks like and figure out what to do with it from there.
Yep, there's no real set deadline on this, so.
I did find a couple errors on mine. And let me share the screen. Actually, just one error on the address, which actually was in the Pinyon. Was in fact in the Pinyon document. Share the screen.
Meaning it was just put a typo.
It was a incorrect address, an incorrect picture, but the correct.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I will click on that. Sure. 2856 South Lincoln. That's the correct address. It was 2826 South Lincoln in the document. Actually, what I'll do is we'll share the screen a little differently here. And share. See my screen. And so if I bring up the other one, yeah, it's 2020 floating. All right, I believe it was 28. Oh darn it! There it is.
Well, have any of you guys, both Melinda and Matt, have you decided, was there a difference too in what you determined was a priority? What Pinyon had determined was low, medium, or high? Have you
Yes,
seen some
what
things?
opinion labeled some things low, which I wonder why low priority.
Okay, put question marks maybe next to it.
I
Or
did.
do somehow mark it so that we can discuss that, because I think this is what we're supposed to do, is take this information, move, you know, we want to hone it down, which is what we're doing. Pulling all stuff together. I think that's awesome.
Sure.
Double check, we basically double check, triple checking. I mean, that's what historic people do, don't they, Lauren? Very detail oriented people.
That's right. Yeah. Because I mean, there's always new research to be found to, you know, shed a different light on something.
Or correct something, you know, I mean, who knows, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll make note of this one just for the record. If we're looking through there, it's which one is it? It's not this one. It is that one, not that one. Get close. This one here.
There's even people there.
It's this one here. The county. It's actually 2856 is the correct address. It's this house here, and actually I used to know the owners. And it is actually historic. Well, it's not historically significant, but architecturally it's interesting. So if you look at the parcel number, and this is something, Melinda, you might want to double check with this. Check the parcel number here to the address, because this is the correct parcel number, or the AIN, the right. So I assume that's a Arapahoe identification number, and it is, in fact, the same as that, but the address is different. So there may be other errors on that. So I'm bringing that up just to double check. If anybody else encounters that. And there's another one here that is 2798. Yeah, one property, 2798 South Lincoln Street, demonstrates extensive modern modifications no longer. And it's right here. I can confirm that is down the street from me. I remember when the guy built that. If you look at the county records for this, there's some odd stuff going on here. It says year built in 1890. But obviously,
1971.
1971 was the date that the parcel was recorded, I believe,
Yeah, all, all the parcels in this part of town begin with 1971.
Huh, but you were there before 1971.
what's that?
No, it doesn't
Why-
really have anything to do with the year.
It's just that it was the year that it was all put in. And I don't, and actually I think there's another one on here that's 2076. But anyway, total building area, I think this is accurate to what's there. There's some, but if you look at the sketch here, that is accurate to the property. Anyway, it's an odd one. I don't know how this happened. I have a feeling that, because I think he did this back in 2006, because I remember when he built this. It's just literally like what, a block or two from me. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe he didn't do it with a permit. I don't know. But
You're just saying there's nothing, no proof of what is there now.
the house was completely demolished. There was absolutely, I don't think there's any remaining anything from 1890.
Well, the one tree.
The tree is probably.
Yeah, I mean, but doesn't sometimes the situation happen where the house is obvious? I know that house too. I mean, obviously it was completely demolished, but doesn't it still show up in the county records like that, as in this case built in 1891, if there's like a corner of the foundation or something like that
It could be.
is left there?
That'd be cool for us to find that out. Hey, Eric, is that something that somebody at one of those, what are they called, GPSs or GSPs, or can tell us?
Oh, JS.
Yes, I don't know.
All right.
And then,
Moving on here, there are a couple other cool properties.
Well, no, what I'm thinking is what you're bringing up is a valid point. As historic preservationists, we need to be able to depend on the information. So who do we talk to, and does Eric know who that is?
well, and I wonder whether the county's records are not like reflecting the year that the lot was first built on, not the or first bought.
So I'll just jump in for a second. I look at like county records across the state, and even past across the country, and they're estimates. Like, you know, they are pretty accurate, but they're not, you know, always completely accurate. There's, you know, if you really want to get the actual like date of a house, there's like through permit records and stuff like that is the best way to like truly identify it. Like the county records are definitely a good starting place, but they aren't always exact.
So what you saw, Lauren, that says 1890, is that what you're going to find when it's like its first time it hit a housing market or something?
I mean, I honestly don't know. Yeah, I don't know where that, it could just be an error in this case, or I don't know exactly. It could
Because
be-
where
Well-
would the information be where it was first? Where would a lot's information be if there had been a house there of a certain decade? It was torn down and another one went on top. Where would that first information go?
Well, some of that, I mean, Lauren,
It's
you
still
know,
there.
Lauren, you know far more about this than I do, but some of that, if you're talking about what's been built or torn down on a piece of property, is not, especially if it's of a certain age where that happened, that's not going to show up in the county records because it predates permitting and building codes and things like that. You know, the county records are based off of, you know, they have more modern stuff, has more modern information, but that's buying and selling of property that's in the county record. So I don't know that, you're going to be able to find out like, oh, this structure was torn down in 1955. That was an original 1890 structure because.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping
Yeah.
for. It
So
doesn't exist. huh?
sometimes it's like, I don't know about Arapahoe County, but some counties have like just their old paper files that you can either request to be scanned or go look at physically, but I don't know about Arapahoe County, what if they have old paper files still. But there could be like some more historical information in that than other than what's showing up online. But it still might not have what you're talking about, CJ.
I think it's
Oh.
Yeah,
city.
well, you know, and years ago, I went and actually asked for the actual permit history on my house that was, paper file, and there was nothing earlier than 1951. So that is perhaps when they started doing permits, or around that time.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've done the same thing. You can actually go to the city and well, you used to be able to. I'd done this on my house, and you can request a address file, which is basically record of all code enforcement and all building permits.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually fascinating because apparently in the 1960s there were a lot of code enforcement violations.
But you could do this online, or you have to physically go in.
It's all physical paper.
Went physically in.
And I don't know if the building department will do that anymore. But
Now you can do it online, of course.
Well, but you know what? I think what we're coming up with these different sources of information is that when someone does come to us and say, I want to make my house a landmark, we can say, these are resources that you can do, you can access to find out more details of your home or business or whatever you're building. I don't think it'd be a bad idea for us to start listing those out.
and that is a good valuable source of information too on the history of the property and things along those lines.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. I will say actually an interesting thing here that I was told, I'm not sure if this is right, but sometime right around 1890, 1880, 1890, the Arapahoe County courthouse burned down,
Mhm.
and you will see properties that were built
Before, huh?
Yeah. always round up to 90. There's never like 1891. There's always like 1890, 1895. 90.
Interesting.
So, and I think this is one of those situations, but anyway, I also found a couple other properties. I know there's historic significance on at least one of these. It's this house. This is, you gotta drive by. It's absolutely an amazing house. It's 2734 South Tacoma. There is, and I don't want to give incorrect information, so I'm trying to figure this out, but I was told there's a special architect that built this house.
Huh.
And it was built in 1919. And it's an amazing house. It is absolutely an amazing house.
How come you think it's amazing?
Well, it was on the market, and there was an open house on it at one point that I got to go through, and I think there are also pictures of it on the inside, but it is almost completely original.
I miss all these open house things that you go to.
Yeah, so, but anyway, it's architecturally, this picture isn't doing it justice, but architecturally, it's just it's a perfect example of arts and crafts architecture.
But inside it was left too.
It's all been left on the inside.
It'd be interesting to see if they kept
Those
it.
windows look like original arts and crafts style
Let me
windows too.
stop sharing my screen for a minute, because I think Zillow actually has pictures from the last listing online. 2730.
You should send them a little love note and say, hey, we're going to be starting a landmark program you might want to consider.
Yeah, here we go. It's I mean, this is all public information, so it shouldn't hurt to put this on Zoom. But all right, so I'll reshare my screen here, and this is from the Zillow listing here. So you can, I mean, it is
Ooh,
Wow.
it is
Oh my gosh.
very much original.
Well, the windows aren't, but
the windows do look original arts and crafts.
They do.
on the front, but inside. There's, okay,
No, that, I
That
mean, the
is
multiple
gorgeous.
panes over one large pane.
Yeah, and they still have the external, the screens and the storm windows.
wow.
But it like I said, it's just in the columns here. This is one of those examples in Inglewood that it's just a gem and it's hidden in a neighborhood that you wouldn't have expected.
I wonder if
two
that's
houses.
a genuine craftsman, a Stickley design.
Could be. You know, and that's the thing is I don't want to give the wrong information here, but I was told at some point that this house had some significant architect. And look at this, they even kept the original light pictures. This is just,
Yeah, but this is all for sale, so who knows what's happened since? Huh?
that's true, and it's been a while.
Look at that built-in to the left. Oh,
Well, that's a typical arts and crafts thing too.
The kitchen.
no, that is so cool. Oh, look
I
at
know. We all get, you know,
that.
excited.
Oh,
Obviously, the island is a new addition there, but
Dishwasher? You know,
that's cute. It's a dishwasher.
But
yeah.
anyway, it's an amazing example of arts and crafts architecture. So highly recommend driving by and taking a peek at it.
Wow.
Boy, if I could see a floor plan of it, then I could compare. I have a whole
Right.
library of Craftsman Homes books that I might be able to identify it, but
Wow.
oh, there's the floor plan.
When did they buy it?
This floor plan.
When did they buy it?
Let's see, what does it say here for?
Just out of curiosity. Now we're just getting off track here.
We are totally getting this correct. Fair Cash Park or where are you? It was last sold and actually it was last sold in 2019. Interesting.
And
And I was able to, it was an open house and it was for sale in 2006. And I had
so it was just sold in 2019?
apparently it was just sold.
No, because they were asking 725, so it had to have been
No,
sold.
725 is it's off.
765.
It's
Oh,
off.
that's now. I buy it.
That's
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Anyway.
Wow, look at that rent estimate, $3,300. Sheesh, Lisa.
It's pretty ridiculous, but anyhow, all right. So that's that house there. That should be probably included on this list as you know, significant example.
Turn it to high priority, right?
You said that's not on Pinyon's survey.
Not on Pinyon survey.
I can see why they missed it, but just based on at least that Google Street View photo. But yeah, that's really interesting.
That's
cool.
beautiful. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, this is the other one here.
Oh,
That's not on Pinyon's survey.
Pinyon survey.
Oh,
How did they miss
Delaware?
that?
Yeah.
one?
but I don't know what makes it special besides just the way the house looks. I mean, it's a very regal house. But
It was a school,
did you guys-
I believe.
when it was up for sale, did anyone get a flyer on this?
I did, yeah.
It was so, Matt, you probably articulate it better than me, but with the salesperson, and I wanted to call the person and say, you should be damned. Actually put on his paper, you can upgrade it, you know, or, you know, whatever you call it, restore it. Or look what happened over on the other street where they made it a fourplex.
There's ample
Seriously.
opportunity here to put in a fourplex high density residential, great investment opportunity.
Yes, go ahead, tear all this down.
Oh,
And
beautiful house. It's a beautiful house. I actually know
well,
the
and the guys before, the owner before, they're the ones that put in the carport in the back, not carport, the garage in the back. And they did very well to honor the look of the house.
So Amber, I know one of the owners of this house, Amber, and she's on the board, the historic Inglewood board now.
No way.
Yeah, so
She owns that house.
you know, Amber owns this house. Yeah.
We have to do a home tour.
It would be amazing.
Yeah. I know we discussed it before, whenever it was for sale, but yeah, I recall from the Zillow listing, doesn't this have original interiors as well?
Believe so. Let me see if I can track that down.
This was the one where I told you where the guys, when they were cleaning, the wallpaper had so much tobacco gook on it that they had to rip it off. The lady had lived there. She was raised in that house.
Oh,
So
wow.
this, so I guess it was a one owner, one family owned house or whatever for like 50 years.
There it is, so right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's, oh,
They saved it. Wow, look at that. Oh, God. I wouldn't have known it was this beautiful on the inside.
and can you imagine if this got torn down? I mean,
Yeah. Wow.
and there's a historic significance to this one too.
What
and
is it?
I don't know all the details right now, so I want to try to make sure that I get the information all
I
together.
think, and I don't know the details either, so I'm not putting this out as fact. Wasn't it the center of a large estate at one point?
It may have been.
Yeah.
I mean, so the cabinets are probably 1940s, 1950s, the metal cabinets. That's fascinating.
Right. They don't trust Inglewood's water either. No, I'm kidding.
I think the new owners have gone through and fixed a lot of the plaster issues that existed. But,
I know the previous owners just got tired.
there was a lot of plaster work to be done.
Look at that door. God, that's gorgeous. Yeah, when they
Oh.
redid that sunroom, I was like, I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. They vinyled it though. That was weird.
well they did. But yeah, there's obviously some
Oh, look at that.
trouble patchwork, but
Those big windows, when they went in, I thought that looked odd, that they did that. Just big
Yeah.
pane windows. That just,
yeah, that is kind of unfortunate. And obviously the vinyl. I mean, vinyl windows. Oof, I don't know.
well, on a house like that.
Are
it's
an
gotta be expensive.
abomination.
Yeah,
Well,
I
but it's
think,
gotta
Melinda,
be
that's an appropriate
expensive.
response to that. They
Yeah.
don't last very long. The energy efficiency lasts for about 5 to 6, maybe 10 years. And then it's not a whole lot different than having just normal single pane windows.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway,
That
so
is a
that's that
cool
house.
bed.
That's that house there, and let's see. So that was that one, and this one. This is another one. This is over off of Acoma and Bates.
Mhm.
And it's just historic. I mean, I don't know if it's historically significant, but architecturally, it's significant. 1901. These are things. These are the ones that I would, looking at the Pinyon survey, go, oh, I wish you'd put these on here. But
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
anyway, this one's at it's 2889 Acoma.
Now, you've never been in that one though, right?
Never been in this one though.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's some of the work that I've done. I've done a little bit additional work similar to what Melinda had done with the priorities and whatnot. However, Melinda, you have an amazing idea to do the permits to see if there's anything pending, because unfortunately there was a nice house here. That one's now a very large duplex.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. And it's a not a very good looking duplex. They're actually building one just like that duplex on my block, which is the same architect, same developer,
That don't care at all.
and it's
Well, and no aesthetic sense in any of these architects, they just,
They did a bigger one
They'll be-
down here in Humboldt where they went ahead and took away a baby house, a small home, and they put up a big one. But to me, they honored the pitch roofs around it. They did, the bricks, the stones.
Melinda, if you know the house that I'm talking about that they built there is absolutely no honoring of architectural anything other than stucco wall,
yeah.
and it's 3 stories.
Oh, God.
I mean, technically, I guess they call it 2.5 stories per the bulk plane, but it's got a significantly large room on each side. On the 3rd floor of that, there's a bedroom, a bathroom, and a common area, and then a patio on the 3rd floor. If you can imagine that, that's and it's excessive and that's one of my arguments against.
Yeah.
bulk plane being at
Yeah.
17 feet.
No, there's one like that across the street from me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anywho,
thanks for finding what you found, Matt.
so that's what I'm kind of working on right now, and I'm going through some of the history on things, and yeah. So that's my
In
update.
fact, I had one other that I wanted to show for a second
Sure.
here. It was that one. Yes, come on. Well, maybe. It doesn't want to share.
Hey, Lauren, have you had a chance to look at any of yours yet?
I have not, unfortunately. I have been.
No, Hannah said she hadn't either, and Ken, was it Ken?
Ken hasn't either.
He hasn't either. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
I'm not gonna judge by any means. I just am excited with what you guys have found.
Yeah, this is really, really interesting. And I like that y'all have like noted other properties that aren't on the list, because now I'm trying to think of ones that might be in my neighborhood that I could add to it
Mhm.
as well.
That one is
That one's
fascinating.
cool.
Oh,
Oh,
this-
that one's great. Yeah.
This one is on my list. This house here, and it turns out it's an apartment house now. Come
Hmm.
back.
The white one is an apartment house?
Yes. And I looked up its permit history and everything, and it's got like 4 bedrooms and 4 baths and
Hmm.
but like I say, apparently it's an apartment house.
Unfortunate
But
placement.
I thought it was interesting architecturally. I couldn't find anything more about it. It was built in 1915. And it's still there and looks in good condition.
Just unfortunate placement because it's on Broadway.
Yeah.
Hey, Melinda, I feel like when I was doing the neighborhood research, I saw a historic photo of this in the Inglewood history book.
Oh, okay.
You
I
might
did
be
try the
there.
book. So yeah, like say I looked through the library. But
You can go
I'll
through
try the
book.
history book.
What's the address? 4085.
Mhm.
4085, yeah.
I mean, that's got to have an architect to it. I mean, with a little turret like
Yeah,
that.
that's so unusual. Even for Inglewood, it's
Mhm, mhm. Very
like anything
Mediterranean
else.
almost, huh?
so yeah.
Makes you wonder, was there a business in front? In the house in the back, that kind of thing?
I'm not sure. I know there's, for instance, there's a liquor store down the street there that was once a house,
Oh, yeah. Liquor barn.
and it's still there.
Liquor barn, yeah. 48.
Liquor barn was a house at
Yeah.
one time?
That was.
I never knew that.
Or a house, or it was a not a, yeah, I think it was actually a house.
And here I thought it was a barn.
I know,
believe
Matt,
you.
you had 2900 South Broadway. I'm trying to remember what is there or what was there.
2900 South Broadway is still there. It is a 2900 South Broadway is the service station.
That's a
Uh,
gas station?
It was an old gas
no, or
station.
is it?
Is that the one where they're selling the cars?
No, it used to be an Audi place. There's I don't know, weird, strange Audi dealership of some sort, or not really dealership, but like service place. But now,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, the Auto Zone is across from Starbucks.
yeah, it's across from Starbucks, and
Okay.
it's now, but it's now a repair. It's a repair shop.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that one, that green one that
the green
they
one.
also have one down south? That
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
So, and by the way, Melinda, I did find here, 4085 South Broadway. Edward Evers was born in West Hoboken, New Jersey. So forth, he came to England and lived with his brother Charles at 4085 South Broadway. The Evers, Edward, and Dorothy family. And there may be a picture of that. Let's see. So, good catch on that, Lauren.
Yeah, I just remember, I mean, I live near that building, and so I drive by it a lot And I just remember seeing that historic photo in the book, and I was really fascinated by it.
Yeah, it's an interesting building. Well, I can add some historical context to my notes then.
Yeah,
You
it's,
can always just knock on the door, just say, hey.
well, you might be knocking on one of 4 doors.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which door should I knock on?
Because every once in a while, has anyone noticed on nextdoor.com, something will come up and some people will talk about the research they've done on their house. And like a board that was, there was some graffiti or something put on it at a certain time. And it's so cool what people have found, like you have, Matt, the research you've done for your house. I mean, I think it's amazing how, I bet you there's dozens of other people that have done the same thing.
Sure. Well, and I've got a unique situation where I still have the abstract for my house,
Mm.
which is, I think, by mistake, but
Keep it.
yeah, I find it.
Well, when I was getting my sewer line repaired, the plumber pulled out this wadded up piece of cardboard that was just stuck in a crack in the basement. And it turned out to be a poster advertising a baseball game in 1923.
Well, might have been the loser, huh? You folded up the poster. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it didn't mean much to the people that live there, but
So this is old business, huh? No, this is new business, huh? Cash.
It's old business because we discussed it on new business last month when Eric
see.
proposed us doing this. So we'll obviously keep it on for next month, and I'll start on mine, and we can discuss again. But is there anything else on this topic before we move on to the next piece of old business?
If I could beg you guys to what resources you did, if you could put that down on a separate sheet, I think we should pull that together. And I'm more than willing to collate whatever you guys give me. But I do think that we should be able, because it's cool what you guys have learned on your own.
Yeah.
like I say, the research is the fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like reading it.
yeah, very interesting stuff, and good catches on those properties that were not on Pinyon's survey. That was interesting. With that, well, we can move on to the next item of old business, which is just an update on the Title 16 and the Historic Preservation Ordinance. And really, this is probably Brian or Sergio. I just wanted 2 things. One, just that the timeline is still on track for passage as part of the overall Code Next and what that timeline is. And 2, I think the city attorney's office was going to make the change on the 75% of owners to designate a district that council reached consensus on and asked. And so I was just curious whether that change had been made. And yeah, so those were the 2 things that I was wondering about.
So I can comment on the first one, or Sergio, if you want to go first, you let me know.
All my answers real quick on the whole 75% designation change for the district. I don't have any information on that, so I'll have to look into that. So I'll look into that and I'll give you an update on that.
Yeah, because when we went to councils, I can't remember now if that was a study session or a meeting, but that doesn't matter. Council had really no issues with the ordinance as we drafted it, except there was consensus to change the threshold for designation of a historic district to 75% of the owners. And so the takeaway that we had leaving that meeting was that be something that the city attorney's office would do, not us, to complete that so that it can be passed as part of the overall Code Next deal. So I'm sure it's not urgent. I mean, depending on what Brian has to say, I don't imagine the Code Next project is going to be passed in the next month or 2 or anything like that. But that was the takeaway from that meeting, just so you know. But Brian, you were, I think, at a comment on the overall timeline of things.
Yeah, we're still on track. We're still working towards getting our draft ready for adoption. I don't know anybody was logged into our last city council meeting or study session on Monday before last, but that's the direction we're going now. Is our consultants are taking the information that they got from council study sessions and then our most recent steering committee meeting and proceeding with creating our final draft. We are scheduling a community informational meeting for July 15th. So you might keep that date open. We're trying to nail down the location and get some more information to get out to the public. But right now, that's the next meeting we have on track is June 15th. June 15th.
June 15th, 6:15.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you both. Are there any questions from the commissioners for Brian or Sergio about that? All right. Yeah, well, thank you both for that update. I'm proceeding as though nothing further is needed from us on the historic preservation ordinance, and I'm sure one or both of you will let us know if that changes, but I'd imagine either the consultants, I guess, or the city attorney's office will take care of that one change that council requested, but we're obviously standing by if anything further is needed, but I take it nothing is at the moment, so let us know if that changes.
Will do.
Thank you. That brings us to staff's choice. Eric, or I guess Brian or Sergio, any of you, any items for staff's choice?
I got nothing tonight.
Okay.
No, I don't have anything either.
Great.
Nothing for me.
Thank you. Commissioner's choice. I don't have anything for commissioner's choice. I'll just go around the horn here. Matt, anything for commissioner's choice?
I do. Give me just a minute if somebody else wants to go ahead of me.
Melinda, anything for commissioner's choice?
No,
Okay,
nothing much.
great. CJ, I don't see you there, but do you have anything for commissioner's choice? We'll come back to CJ and Matt. You can have the floor.
Sure. So I don't have the details right away on this. Actually, I should have this up. Realizing I'm not able to find it, but Historic Inglewood will be doing a history presentation later this month, and I believe it is on the amusement parks one. You'll have to keep your eyes open for. Yes, there it is, right there. Got it. Thank you. Celebrity Sports Center. Same guy that did the amusement parks. Tuesday, May 23rd, 2003. So that's coming up here real soon. That's next week.
Where's it at?
So we have two locations at the 2:30 p.m. at the Inglewood Public Library, and scroll up a little bit if you don't mind. Move up just a little bit. CJ. 6:30 p.m. at should be the Tap House. You're muted, CJ. You're muted. CJ, can you hear me?
I can only do one thing at once, I guess. Okay, so it's 2190 South Platte River Drive is the 6:30 P1 at Table Public House. Table Public House.
That's right. Yeah, it's a new location for us. So thank you for that. And for telling everybody about that. But yeah, I think it's gonna be cool. And I don't know if anybody remembers Celebrity Sports Center, but I sure do.
Well, and I gotta say, David Forsyth is a historian, and is he still up at Blackhawk or Central City? I think he's moved on, but the idea that he's the one he did for the Historic Society at the time, a tour of Lakewood Amusement Park, and his knowledge is just amazing. So it'd be interesting to see what he comes up with. Just want you to know that I will be doing a historic tour, inviting people, employees of Inglewood, the city of Inglewood, as you know, the directors and employees, Eric. When I was trying to get some dates from Madeline, when would be a good time to do that, to make it like a happy hour thing. And it sounded like it's never gonna work for everybody. So I'm thinking we're gonna pick a Thursday and take a tour of a couple of the houses in the neighborhood, walk around and hear our walking history tour, just for employees of Inglewood. So just know that that's going to be coming up. That's it.
Cool.
Thank you, CJ. Lauren, did you have anything for Commissioner's Choice?
I actually have two things. One is we've kind of talked about this off and on in the past, but I think at the last meeting we talked about it a little bit, the idea of becoming a CLG, and I was just wondering if like I can reach out to the CLG coordinator at History Colorado, to see if they can come to one of our meetings and talk to us about it more. Is that something that anyone would be interested in? If we want to pursue that, or
I would
you know.
be, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I would be interested in that. And, I don't want to get too far afield as we wrap up the meeting, but I would specifically be interested in if the ordinance that we've proposed gets passed as it exists, or as it was, I guess, revised by council with that threshold for designation of a district, is our ordinance such that we could become one? I think the answer is yes to that. But yeah, I would be interested in hearing from someone about that, if you don't mind coordinating that. And I guess if you can let Eric know so that you can get on to Eric or me, I guess two of us can talk with Eric moved in so it can get on the agenda if you're able to do that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can do that for sure. And then the other thing is, while I was out, I know John Cox had come and talked about the tramway, and he's reached out to me a couple of times since then. So I was just wondering if there's any, updates that I can give him on what's happening or anything like that.
That's the Mr. Cox is
The
he's
trolley
the-
car,
Tram.
yeah.
yeah, he's trying to preserve that tram car that's in Wyoming. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
and he said that I think it has been moved or it will be moved soon, to a shop in Fort Collins. So,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy was on the presentation too. The guy that
okay,
actually does stuff, but he was saying it was going to be like $40,000.
Yeah, I can't remember what his ask exactly was of us. I thought it was interesting from a historical perspective, and I'm also railroad person, so I thought it was interesting in that regard too. I think we kind of gently discussed with him, we don't have or control any money to do that. I think it's a worthy mission, but I guess I don't know, what can we do to help, knowing that we don't have any money or control any money to support it?
Well, but I mean, the historic Inglewood does have some money, but in the idea of putting in for grants, pushing things forward, I think one of the major things that came out of our presentation discussion was we didn't know where to put it.
Yeah.
There was no place for it at this time.
That was the, what I recall too, was not only that it would be hard to afford, but where would we put it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing the Forney Museum might help out, as far as history stuff, but
Well, I was hoping that with the city center redevelopment, that there could be an opportunity to tie it in there somehow or have it on display there. But that's all pipe dreams without any.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember when that meeting was, so it's receding in my memory. And I probably said this to Mr. Cox at the meeting. I mean, if they haven't already, they should ask the Colorado Railroad Museum about it.
who?
The Colorado Railroad Museum, it's a
Oh.
little outside their wheelhouse because it's passenger, but they actually have places to put rolling stock equipment.
They do major repair there too.
They do that there. Mhm.
You know who would know a lot about that is Doug Cohn.
Doug, yeah, Doug and Jim Jordan.
I think Yeah, I think they already know about it. It just is like they were hoping someone else would take the ball and run with it.
Okay,
Oh,
Well,
so
I talked to John Cox actually, just about a month and a half ago or so, just to briefly see if he was gonna be coming to town. He had mentioned that he was gonna be coming back to Denver sometime around the middle of the year. And was hoping to get him here for a historic lecture, for historic Inglewood, but also to check in how things were going. And he was kind of, he's not coming this year apparently, and there's some other delay with the other car in Arvada, I think it is. Was that Arvada?
oh, okay. Mhm.
So I'm not sure exactly what the significance of that was, but that was, I did talk to him just recently.
Yeah. I mean, that, the other thing too, I would be more than happy if he wants to come to another meeting during public forum, put him on the agenda if he wants to talk further about it, that would be fine. I'm not sure what we can do, but I would be happy to have him for another meeting.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let him know next time he reaches out, or yeah, or just reach out to him and give him an update. I just wanted to kind of know what came of that, if anything. So I appreciate all those details.
what are you gonna say? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know yet.
I mean, because it's such a bummer. I mean, it's such a neat thing, and I can see that nobody's really jumping at it because of the monies.
I agree.
in
Yeah.
place.
Eric, do you know like if the city has any like thoughts or ideas of helping out in any way? Or if it's something that they would be interested in?
I think the price tag was a little on the spendy side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll throw out, we've got the Cherylin thing downstairs. I mean, it's like, I'm sure that's not, something to look forward to moving if ever they have to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. That's all I had.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for talking with Mr. Cox. Tell him sorry. We can't do more to be helpful, but we'll try if he wants to come again, like I said. So I think that's everybody. That brings us to the end of the meeting. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it was moved and seconded to adjourn, so we stand in adjournment. Thanks, everyone.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Eric, Sergio, appreciate it.
Good luck, everyone, on your research. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
Have a
Yeah.
good night.
Have a good night.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Night.